You're listening to LVB Podcast Show with your friend, advocate, and host, Alvaro.
Hello and welcome to LVB Show. My name is Alvaro and I'm very happy to be with you tonight. Tonight we have with us a woman who is visually impaired. Her name is Mary Wilburn, and she's gonna tell us about a Facebook group she has founded and a little bit about her life as well. So Mary, thank you for being with us tonight.
Oh, well, thank you for doing this. This is awesome.
It really is awesome, and I have to say for our listeners, thank you, Julie Rondan, a wonderful friend of us and of the show, for making this possible. Julie is a wonderful person, and she's a great advocate for people who are visually impaired and totally blind everywhere in this planet. So thank you, Julie, if you are listening to the show. So, Mary, what can you tell us about, first of all, where do you live in the United States?
I am in Oklahoma. I'm in Dale City, Oklahoma, which is actually a suburb right outside of Oklahoma City. I'm just southeast of the downtown Oklahoma City area is where I'm at. And that's where we are.
How is the area related to people who are visually impaired? How do you feel there?
Here in Dale City, where I'm at, it's very friendly. There's a lot of people. This is where I grew up at, and I know just under 7 years ago, when I lost most of my sight, people here in Dale City became very, very helpful. And it's not one of those pity party kind of cities. They're very accommodating. They try to help out as much as they can. So whatever store I'm at, whether it's a convenience store or a department store, restaurant, I mean, there are so many people here that are so very friendly and willing to help and want to help. So as far as like the blind community, there's not very many blind people that live here in this area, but there are a few of us that do. And the citizens here, the residents of this city, they're very accommodating, very friendly.
Can you tell our listeners, how did you lose your sight?
Oh, sure. In October of 2008, I had my very first stroke. And approximately 30 to 45 days after that first stroke, my eyesight began to deteriorate. It was almost like being in a movie theater. Right before they start the movie, they kind of dimmed the lights down, and that's what I was doing. And then I had a second stroke in April of 2010. And after that, I've had a few mini strokes after that. And that was due to having high blood pressure problems and not taking care of myself, and other factors like being a real heavy cigarette smoker. And so just not taking good care of myself is where the strokes came from. Then, since then, my eyesight has deteriorated a little more to where, for me, it's looking through a very thick sheet of wax paper.
And Mary, what has made this transition better for you? In other words, like for me, for our listeners, losing my sight from retinitis pigmentosa, since I was probably about 19 to 28 or so, it was the time where I lost the most of my sight. Then it has been going more and more and more, but now it's very little that I see, but the transition is complicated. It's complicated for everybody. Everybody has a different way of coping and of finding tools of handling the situation. For you, what has been important to understand how to adapt and adjust to your new situation?
What I have learned over these last few years is you can't let this overwhelm you. And because if you're not careful, it will get you into a very dark place. And it's not a very comforting feeling to be there. But with that transition, you really start finding out who you really are as a person, and how you have to readjust on doing many things that you took for granted when you were fully sighted. And you approach things in a lot different attitude, different manner, and everything. Whether it's getting up in the morning and putting your own clothes on, or making dinner, going out to the general public. I think it really makes you look at how you address people and how you present yourself. Because when people see one blind person, or 2 or 3 or 300, it's almost like a stereotype. And if you have a really good attitude and you show people that, look, I don't want a pity party, but give me some respect to maintain my independence and understand that we want to be just as normal as everyone else. And so you kind of become a representative for the blind community. Like I said, if it's just one person or 10 people, we all represent the blind community. How they see us is how they see the entire blind community.
I like the way you put it, and now we can go into what made you put this group together and tell us about it.
Oh, sure. The group that I and 2 of my low vision friends founded is the Independent Eagles for the Blind and Disabled Association. And one of the reasons why we started this was we want to show everyone, our family, friends, the general community, is we're still normal. We're just people. We want to enjoy life just as much as they do. And there's more to living than just deciding what kind of political state bill or Senate bill is out on the floor and they want you to rally here, rally there. I don't care. My whole thing is quality of life means a lot. And there are others out there that are not interested in all the politics. And that was one of the things with this group, is no political agenda. We're making new friends, a true support group for one another. Somebody wants to lean on you or cry on your shoulder, hey, they've got that. They've got a friend. And to let people know that you're not being left behind, because being left behind is a heart-wrenching, lonely feeling. It's awful. And I thought, if I felt like that, there's others probably feeling the same way.
Mary, tell us, how can people access this group?
We are on Facebook, and it is the Independent Eagles for the Blind and Disabled. And like I said, we are on Facebook. I believe on Facebook we have our service announcement about who we are. What we'd like to do is going out and having a nice time. Should have my contact information on there as well. And if not, they can certainly put a message on that Facebook account. I'll be more than happy to return phone calls, talk to them. I invite everyone to come join us. It doesn't matter if you're fully sighted. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, you need a walker, if you're an amputee. It doesn't matter. If you want to come and just enjoy yourself and meet new friends, just come on.
How many members do you have?
Right now, we currently have 25 members.
Good start.
Mm-hmm. Very happy, very pleased.
Now, let's talk a little bit about what are your thoughts of some of the biggest misconceptions about people who are visually impaired or blind.
Some of the biggest misconceptions is they think that we are totally dependent upon others. Now, sure, right now I can't drive. So we have to rely on public transportation, our friends, our family. So with our group, one of the things is we have an individual that we like to call, and we use them as a driver for us when we go out on our outings. We go to different museums or parks or out to eat, movies, everything. So the public transportation here in Oklahoma, some areas are much better than others, but it's to remind people that we want to be as independent as we possibly can.
Mary, something comes to my mind, and I want our listeners to hear your opinion, and is sometimes in our community people can tend to complain a lot about their condition. They can do that a lot now on social media, and I receive many messages from people saying, I am tired of reading negative things from blind people in our community. I wish they were more understanding that when you start thinking negatively, bad things are going to happen to you. So I hear that a lot, and I want your opinion on that situation.
As far as speaking for myself in the blind community, the only really big negative thing I say is it bothers me that I have to rely on others to help me in transportation area, because I'm so used to getting in my own vehicle and taking myself somewhere. But everything else, I try to remind people, is like we have to be as positive as we possibly can. But I also want to get the community to where, we're not. It's not one of those deals where we want your pity. It's not what we want. It's some understanding and more awareness. And in fact, I've challenged some people. It's like, if you think this is so easy and you want to see through my eyes, take a sheet of wax paper and put it in front of your face and go throughout your day with that on you. And you tell me what kind of a party you think that really is. And then at the end of the day, when you take that wax paper off of your face, you remember, this doesn't come off of mine. This is permanent.
That's a good point to make people understand the situation.
I would like to do something like that. Is, some of these individuals that work in visual services have gone through what they call blind world. But it's like, as I've reminded a few of them, they've gotten on to me for this, but I've told them, at the end of the day, or end of that hour or so, you got to take your mask off, and you're in the fully sighted community again. I can't do that. So, some people say they understand where I'm at. You don't. You don't. But if you present yourself positively, keep laughing and smiling, do the best you can. I mean, nobody's going to be perfect, but to bring a little bit of glimmer of hope for yourself or more awareness to somebody else, they can say, wow, I never thought of it that way.
Mary, what is your biggest source of strength today?
My faith in God. My faith in God has really got me through a lot of things, and then I have some incredible friends that really when this happened to me, I found out who my real friends are, and they never left me. They've been right here at my side as my very good friends. I have an incredible family. My siblings, they are fantastic. Unfortunately, both of my parents are deceased, and my family, my cousins, they're just really good people. Really good people.
To those listening tonight who are feeling sad, depressed, down, helpless, what is your advice for them to start changing that way of feeling and start smiling more? Because we only live once, dear listeners. We only have one shot at life.
Right.
And I think, whether we have a disability or not, we better live the best we can because it's the only chance we have.
Right. We're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if you just stop for just a moment, take a deep breath, and remind yourself of the good things and the positive things, and keep building yourself up. Sometimes you have to do that for yourself, to where you have to reach inside and say, you know what, I'm not going to give up. I'm not a quitter. I'm a fighter. And I'm going to persevere, and I'm going to continue to move forward. I'm not going to let this overtake me. It's just as one of the jobs I had before I lost my sight was I drove semis for a living over the road. And one of the things I would tell my students is, you drive this truck. This truck doesn't drive you. So for those of us who are low vision or totally blind, we're not going to let it rule our life. There are just certain things we have to go about in a different way, approach things in a different manner, but you keep trying, you get yourself up, you dust yourself off and say, okay, that's all right. That's a minor technicality, and I'm going to defeat this.
Mary, let's talk about how to get out of the comfort zone that we have. I have been convinced for many years that has been one of the best ways for me to deal with this. As our listeners know, I travel a lot to the US. I just came back from New York City, spending 1 month there, and being from Colombia is an international trip. It's 6 hours of flight, and obviously I on my own. I'm always walking on my own. I work in the United States as well as in Colombia, so for me it has been very important to push myself and do whatever is that I don't feel comfortable at doing and that gives me more strength, more power inside to do whatever I want to do. What do you think about that?
That is excellent. Besides that, just going to New York, that will get anybody out of their comfort zone.
I think so.
Oh, I used to cringe every time when I'd get a message on my Qualcomm in the truck that had a load going to New York. Oh, that would all just make me want to just fall out of the truck. It was just very difficult. But overall, there's quite a few people that I did run into in New York that were very, very nice people. And for those people in New York, I did enjoy being there, because especially up around Syracuse and in Ogdensburg, New York, my God, if anybody's up that way, I'd like to have froze to death up there. But it's very pretty. They had very pretty areas up there. And then, of course, one of the things I liked about New York is I could go have some really good pizza. So it was really good. But there were some really good, nice, friendly people up there, very friendly and very helpful. And it was just really fun. But as far as getting out of your comfort zone, that's, for me, what is easier, what works for me is a little bit at a time. And one of the things that I had to overcome was, since I have lost so much of my sight, it was very difficult for me to go to the large malls that are here. Like we have Penn Square Mall, Quail Springs Mall. It was just very hard, because you have all that noise and people talking and everything coming at you all at one time. And for me, it was almost a panic attack. So little bit by little bit, kind of go in there, and you just kind of have to remind yourself, okay, take a deep breath. Don't try to focus in on all of that all at one time. But yeah, I think that's a good idea, just to little by little, and then kind of stretch out, because it will strengthen you. It's like, okay, if I can overcome that, I can overcome anything.
Yes, I agree with you, Mary. And finally, I would like to know if you use any assistive technology like smartphones, tablets, computer with something that helps you read the screen, something like that.
Oh, absolutely. What I have right now is I have JAWS, the screen reader, on my computer, and there are times when I just want to choke my computer because JAWS it can be very difficult, and it's very painstaking to learn all the different keystrokes, but if you get familiar with enough of those, it's not so bad, but it is very beneficial. And then I also have a scanning device that's hooked up through the computer that I can do my own mail, I can read letters. I'm working on learning how to use an iPod Touch because I've never had anything like that before. I'm going to have to refresh myself on my Braille all over again because I wasn't using it like I was supposed to, but there's that. But as far as the technology goes, the computer, the scanner, and learning on the iPod Touch. So, I mean, there's a lot of things out there. Some other items I have is, I have a little brailer that I can braille my own money if I need to. So that is beneficial for me instead of trying to figure out how to fold this denomination of money. It's like, okay, is it a 5 or a 1? So I just braille it.
When you mean braille it, you mean you can feel the texture of the bill? How does it work?
Yeah, there is an item that you can actually put on your keychain if you want. And they also have one that's a money identifier also that you can put your paper money in there and push a button and it'll tell you what it is.
Oh.
And that's really fine too. That's really nice. And the other one, the handheld little brailer that I have, like I said, it's a plastic piece that will give you the denominations in Braille, of course. You know, the letter A is for a 1, letter E is for a 5. So I can sit there and I can braille the corner of my money and feel it, and it's like, oh, yep, okay, that's my 5. So, but that's really beneficial too.
Very useful indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mary, it has been a privilege to have you on the show. I think that
well, thank you.
Our listeners must be very excited to go and visit your group. Please tell us again the name of your group on Facebook.
Oh, yes. We are the Independent Eagles for the Blind and Disabled. And we're getting ready for some events coming up that we're going to do in just a few weeks here in September. So we've got the State Fair of Oklahoma coming in. We're getting transportation lined up for our group to go to that. And then we're going to be trying to do a game and lunch day. And then we're not sure on one particular event. We're trying to kick it around. We found a spot that maybe go to either the lake or have a picnic, or so we're just kicking around some more ideas too. So,
Mary, I really applaud your enthusiasm, your passion, and your determination to not let this make your life less than it was before you lost your sight, and to help others be in the same place. Because we have to move. We have to be on the move. We can't be at home all day, all night. We have to be on the move. We have to enjoy life. We have to feel the air. We have to feel the ocean. We have to feel the mountains. We have to feel alive.
Exactly.
And I think that is critical for our listeners to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you can just... Even if you just want to call and talk to some people, just to get an idea, they're welcome to call me anytime they want to. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night. I don't care if it's midnight. I'm still awake. You know, they have some questions for me about the Eagles group. Anybody and everyone can call me if they choose. That's not a problem. I mean, this group, we're a true support group for one another. If somebody's having a bad day and they don't feel like announcing it to the whole group, they can pull me aside and say, hey, look, this is an area I'm still having problems with. Then I can present it anonymously. and say, hey, we have a friend that's having trouble in this particular area. Anybody got any ideas? And they can hear it for themselves. Or they just want to cry because they're having a bad day. Okay, well, let's cry. I'll cry with you. You want to laugh because I've done some real funny things as a blind person. It's very funny. So we're going to laugh, cry, all of that.
Mary, we need, as a community, and I don't even say it in the blind community only, but in the disabilities community, and not only in the United States but worldwide, we need that kind of brotherhood, sisterhood, friendship, loyalty, togetherness, unity. We need that desperately.
Absolutely, because some people will tend to put us off in the corner like a broken toy, or try to dispose of you like a broken toy or an old shoe. It's like, number one, hello, have you met me? Because I don't go away that easy. I'll be the biggest pain in your backside you've ever seen. But we just want people to know, it's like, look, I don't care if you're in a wheelchair. If that person's in a wheelchair, they want to enjoy life just as much as you do. It's like they want to be able to walk and run just like somebody who's fully sighted. I would love to be able to see again. Then there are days it's like, whoo, I'm glad I didn't see that. But, it's just in a different way of looking at things. Whether somebody who's an amputee is like, man, I'd love to have my leg back or my arm back. It's like, well, sure they would. How would you say that you wouldn't? Or, and it's like with people who are blind or very low vision, wouldn't you like to see what the color purple is, or red, or blue, or yellow? Sure they would. For those friends of mine that are totally blind and were born blind, they've never seen those colors ever. So trying to explain that to them, do that. It's like, wow, that would be very challenging. For them, it's like, how would you... It would be easy to come up with some things to coordinate that with a certain color, but it's like it's still not the same as actually seeing the color for itself.
Absolutely. Very, very inspiring talk with you, Mary. Thank you, and thank you to your roommate also who helped us make this possible.
Oh yes, I appreciate my roommate Taffy, who really helped me with this. Sometimes my computer, like I said, if I could get away with drop kicking it or strangling it, but then I wouldn't be able to get on the internet either. So
right, yeah, you have to be careful with that.
I know, but it'd be the my luck. It's like, oh look, the computer got the last lap. It just electrocuted her.
Right? No.
Well, I have to say that it is a really good group. It has really done a good job with everything.
Oh, a lot of us have. It's not just one person. That's what I like about this group is it's, just because I'm one of the co-founders or the president, it doesn't matter. I mean, all glory goes on to God. And everyone in this group has done just a really good job on getting the word out about our group, handing out little flyers about our group, and so it's just a lot of fun. We just have a lot of laughs and a good time. Just a good time.
I'm sure many people are going to join in for sure. So
that'd be awesome.
Thank you so much, ladies, for your interesting and very inspiring talk. And for our listeners, remember, you can email us to be on the show at LowVisionBureau@gmail.com. And I hope you all have a wonderful night. This is Alvaro from LVB Show saying good night.